Hello everyone, this is why I do not use eBay. Okay, so an incident happened very recently as I was assisting someone in the sale of some old music equipment they don't use anymore. So far I've shipped a few things, most of the things successfully received, except for one. They went bad and then some. The item was a small but very heavy 3,000 watt amplifier. It's the kind you would install in a rack with, alongside other audio equipment. Upon the sale, I gave the money to the person for which I sold the items. They purchased some U-Haul boxes, and I proceeded to pack the items. I packed them in, there's lots of layers of protection. There was thick foam on the bottom, 2 layers, packing peanuts on top of that, then a flat piece of cardboard, set the item on that, then put thick foam around all the sides. Then I put like a foam membrane. It's like a sheet, but it's made of foam. I don't know if you've ever seen it. But anyways, I cut long strips of that and quad folded it so it was like that thick, and shoved that down into the corners around the flanges of the item, the mounting flanges, which is very thick steel. And then on top of all this, I put more packing peanuts, then 2 more layers of thick foam, and closed up the box. We shipped this FedEx. It arrived in a timely manner. I will say I've used FedEx for a long time and haven't had any problems attributable to FedEx. So after the item arrived, I received a return request due to damage pictures in my inbox. So I see the pictures late that night, and I inform the buyer that I'll get on it in the morning after some deliberation and investigation. However, a few key things were noticed. Number 1, the pictures show an amp with many, many dents, heavily bent mounting flanges. I'll show you the picture there. The box looks demolished, holes everywhere. I mean, this thing, it looks like it's been run over, dropped down a few flights of stairs or something. Another thing I noticed is somebody wrote fragile on the top in cursive with a smiley face. That I did not do. Here's the box. And we'll come back to the box. Okay. Number 2, the item required a signature upon acceptance of delivery. In normal shipping and receiving procedures, if an item arrives damaged, you don't sign for it, you reject it. In the business I'm in, I deal a lot with it, with shipping and receiving on a daily basis. I've had to reject items. I've had to contact the sender when looking at the items and saying, look, here's the deal. I don't think I want to accept this. There's been times, though, where in contacting the person who sent it, they say, go ahead and accept it. We're going to mail you another one or something like that. But usually you don't accept it if it's damaged. You saw the box. Would you accept a box like that? That's crazy. Right there, red flags are going off. Why would he accept it? I always reject damaged boxes when I receive them. Let's continue on. So number 3, I start to scrutinize further as something seems amiss. And it hits me like a ton of bricks. I'm looking at the box. It has no markings on it whatsoever. Allow me to show you the box I used. It has graphics on all sides and all but one flap. So there's graphics all over the box. It's covered in orange and green everywhere. You remember his box? alarms are going off. Whoop, something is wrong here. How did this happen? So I get Scott involved. He's Blue Vino's guitarist and guest host of our podcast, Sidetracked, which is on usually every Friday night. Follow us on Twitter if you want to see when that happens. Anyways, he is also an engineer, and he's noting that the dents on the item they're not consistent with what you would expect from just dropping it. Yes, this is a heavy item, but it's honestly so heavy that it doesn't bounce. So something else he noticed was the seam on the side has waves in the metal. Consistent with prying. When you drop something, it usually dents in, and especially along a seam, it's not going to come apart. It's more like kind of like that. So if you hit something going this way, right, and the seam is an overlap like that, the seam isn't going to go like this, or more importantly, waving and curling. That would be somebody trying to pry this thing open, and it's not working. So more red flags. He asks about the dust on the item, and I said, that's funny because I cleaned this thing spick and span before I sent it, before I boxed it. So I cleaned it with electronics cleaner, and it looked like new. The thing had barely ever been used. So do you get what's happening here? Scam. This is a scam. I immediately report the buyer for the scam. Okay? And then reply to the buyer with simply, because you signed for the item, it's your responsibility to file a claim with FedEx. I might have said another sentence, but it wasn't much more than that, short and sweet. And a day goes by, and then they replied with the following. First of all, you tried to get out of this by saying that not the box you sent the amplifier in. Yes, it his with your M formation on it. Second, you will have to do the claim, not me. You tried to keep $600. Shame on you. Listen, the box useless. You put A amps like this could never work, sir. I bought over 8 amps through eBay, and none of them came damaged because those people knows how to ship it secure. Now you trying to get away. eBay will have you paid my money back. Sure, it his. How can somebody pack a 1 pound into a 10-pound box with secure? Parentheses, I signed for it to receive it. The box show damage on the outside. Could not see the amp until I open it. You did not pack any farm of support for a 60-pound amps like that. How could you think it would arrive without damage? eBay will always have this open until I receive money back. Did you hear that? He bought 8 of the same item. Fishy, no? A little bit? This guy, is he starting an audio production company, but he can't speak English? I'm not saying that's impossible. And there are, believe it or not, there are still plenty of illiterate people in America. That's real. That is a real thing. And could they play an instrument? Sure. Could they use this equipment? I don't know. An amp, yeah, that's not that hard. But a 3,000 watt amp that's meant to go into a rack? I don't know. I'm not saying all this is impossible. I'm saying I have doubts for obvious reasons that I've already mentioned. The next day, I report the buyer again. And 2 days have gone by, no response from eBay. Now I'm losing faith in eBay. And so I call to jumpstart the investigation, or so I think. The first girl I speak to stayed very impartial, which is fine. In the end, she tells me the eBay policy tells her that this is the proper procedure. Accept the return, pay back the buyer, then report the buyer for abusing the system. I say, funny you should say that, because I've already reported him twice, and I haven't heard a word from eBay. She repeats herself a few times, basically. I get a little angry, and I ask for a supervisor before they lose a customer forever. She puts me on hold a lot. She says, I can't find a supervisor. Can somebody call you back in 5 minutes to 4 hours? Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. Then I can go do something, talk about this later, and maybe cool off a little bit. I received no phone call. So I call him back the next day. And this girl I speak to, she actually said, in reply to my description of this being a scam, she said, oh yeah, that makes sense. I found someone with logic and reason in their head that works at eBay. And then she puts me on hold, consults eBay policy, and repeats what the other person said. You have to accept the return and then give them their money back. And then we'll talk about fixing this problem. Sure we will. I ask for a supervisor before they lose a customer for life. And hooray, they found one. An illogical, irrational one, but they did find one. This is where it gets bonkers. Bonkers. I explain, the buyer claims my item is in these pictures, but the pictures don't actually show that that's my item. It shows a box that isn't the one that I sent, and an item that looks like something that I sent. It's the same kind of thing. I'm not sure it is the same thing, especially because the box is not the one I sent. Supervisor says, well, we can't prove that. I say, I have pictures of the box I used. And explain how obvious it is that it's not my box. Because these U-Haul boxes, they're literally covered in graphics. And this box has no graphics. This is obvious. The supervisor says, that doesn't change our policy being that the buyer receives an item that isn't what they ordered, then they have a right for a return and a refund. Because it's not what they ordered, see? I'm going, all right. The guy admits to ordering 8 of these items. How do we know he's not taking a picture of a completely different item? How about we have the guy take a picture of the item with the damage and the serial number in the picture? Because when I took the pictures of the item, which are on eBay, you could see the serial number down the bottom on the backside. I'm like, oh, if I could compare the serial numbers, that'll prove it. You ready for insanity? Supervisor says, that doesn't matter either because he's claiming he received something different than what he ordered. The pictures do depict that. Meaning, if he did take a picture with the serial number and they were different, technically speaking, he still received something different. Yeah. Well, I say, okay, so if he took a picture of a rock and claimed that's what he received, he doesn't have to prove anything at all? No, the supervisor says. I've worked in shipping before, and things get mixed up in shipping. This could be the shipping company's fault. But you have to accept the return and sort it out after that. Something could have happened during shipping that resulted in this different amp and different box. How do you know? I say to him, you mean to tell me you actually believe that FedEx opened my box, took out the item, reboxed it, then destroyed the box that they reboxed it in? You believe that's something that FedEx does? The supervisor says, possibly. Or they could have delivered him the same kind of item from a completely different shipment. Wow. What, FedEx, are they wizards? I say, so now you mean to tell me that you believe that FedEx could somehow have found another amp exactly like the one I sent, but in a different box, tore the shipping label off of my box, and put it on the other box? That is not rational at all. I mean, how would they even know what's in the boxes? The scenario that this happens in is like something out of a comedy movie, where you're like, oh, this is so funny because it's so irrational, right? Oh, you're shipping something, and oops, the box falls out of the airplane, and blah, blah, blah. And FedEx is like, oh no, man, I was going to lose my job if I didn't fix this. I don't know why he's British. And so he finds the item all, oh, the item's okay, I'll put it in another box, and I'll just rip this label off and put it on there. Or worse, he scours through all of the other boxes looking for, it just so happens there's another amp exactly the same. as this one that fell out of the airplane, and so I'll send him that one in this box that I'll just tape it all up and send it to him, and it gets destroyed. And the guy's like, hey, this is what I ordered. Wow, man. Awesome imagination. Like, that's an awesome imagination. You should just like write movies or something, like comedies, because it's so goofy. So the supervisor says, hey, how it happened doesn't matter. What matters is he received something different than what you sent. I say, look, as of right now, I'm never using eBay again. This is not good customer service, and your policies allow for scamming. No, they actually assist in scamming. This guy's not getting the money, okay? Feel free to escalate this if you think you can save a customer. But as of right now, goodbye. So I hang up, and there you have it. So let me give you my rundown based on their policies. How to cheat people on eBay. Simply take an item that you have that's broken and destroy a box and take pictures of that. Go buy all of those same items on eBay. And when you get those items, send the pictures that you just took and say, that's what I got. It doesn't matter, obviously, if the boxes look remotely the same. Then eBay will reimburse you and then tell the other guy, oh, hey, you got to do this. And if the other guy's like, oh, that's not the box I sent, you could just go delete your account. And you've got all these items that eBay's trying to deal with this, and they're like, well, he's got to return it. And then you just disappear. Delete the account. Go sell all those items. You could make like $4,000 really fast. I'm not saying you should do this. I'm saying this is based on their policies, how you could do it. Let's take it a step further. Don't even have a broken item of the same thing. Take a picture of a rock. Just a rock and a destroyed box. And then order whatever you want. And then show a picture of the rock and be like, hey, eBay, they sent me a rock. This ain't what I ordered. And eBay will be like, we got your back, bro. And they'll have to give you the money. Awesome. But, you could do a MacBook, high dollar item, something like that. You could get $2,000 for it. Go sell it off a random overpass. I don't know. Does it matter? I want to say, finally, this video is not slander because this is all based on a true experience, a first-hand experience in eBay's customer service and their policies. You can go look up their policies. I'm not spouting rhetoric. These aren't lies. These are their policies. That's why I no longer use eBay and PayPal.